Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm diving into a difficult and often uncomfortable subject: sexual abuse of boys by women, particularly those who are older, like aunts, family friends, or other matured women in a family setting. This is a topic that isn't talked about nearly enough, and I think it's crucial we start opening up about it. If you or anyone you know has gone through anything like this, please know you're not alone. And if you're not comfortable talking about it yet, that's okay. This conversation is about raising awareness, not forcing anyone to share more than they are ready for. So, let's start by defining what we mean. Sexual abuse, at its core, is any form of unwanted sexual attention or contact. It's a violation of someone's boundaries. And in this case, it happens to boys by women who may be in position of authority or trust, like aunts, older family friends, or even stepmothers. It's important to recognize that sexual abuse of boys, especially by women, is often underreported, misunderstood, or dismissed because there is the idea that boys can be victims in the same way that girls can. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, you might wonder, why don't we hear more about this? Why is it so hard to talk about? Well, there are a lot of reasons. First, the stigma surrounding male vulnerability is huge. Society has long taught boys to be tough, strong, and that they shouldn't express fear or pain. So when it comes to something like sexual abuse, there's this idea that boys should enjoy it, or that they can't be victimized because of their gender. Another big part of it is that we're conditioned to think of abuse as a woman being a victim and a man being the perpetrator. When the roles are reversed, it doesn't fit the traditional narrative. This makes it hard for survivors to come forward or even recognize that they've been abused. Several abuse by women may happen in various forms. And one of the most insidious aspects is how it's often camouflaged in terms of affection or playful behavior. A woman in a position of trust may initiate physical contact in ways that seem harmless. A hug that lingers too long, touching that becomes inappropriate over time, or even more overt acts like kissing, groping, or manipulation. The dynamic often exploits the emotional vulnerability of boys. They may be confused, embarrassed, or even feel like they are complicit because they might not know how to set boundaries, or they don't have a frame of reference to understand that what's happening is wrong. Now let's talk about the impacts. Like any form of abuse, it affects the survivor on multiple levels: emotionally, mentally, and sometimes physically. Many boys experience shame, confusion, and guilt. They might even feel like they are to blame. It can damage their self-esteem and make it hard to trust others. Unfortunately, the emotional trauma often goes unaddressed because there's a misconception that boys should just get over it. But this isn't something you just get over. It takes years to process. And for some, it's a lifelong battle. Survivors might struggle with relationships, intimacy, and their sense of identity. And this is why it's so important to create a space where we can openly talk about the pain that male survivors face. One of the first steps in addressing this is breaking the silence. Survivors need to feel safe to speak out, without fear of being judged or mocked. If you are someone who has experienced this and know that you have the right to speak up and seek help, no one has the right to violate your boundaries, regardless of their gender. And for parents and guardians, it's vital to educate children about consent and boundaries from a young age. Teach them that it's okay to say no to anyone, regardless of their relationship to you. And that if something feels wrong, it is wrong, no matter who is involved. As a community, we need to stop normalizing this kind of abuse. We need to protect boys the same way we protect girls. And we need to hold people accountable, no matter who they are. If you or someone you know has been affected by this kind of abuse, there are resources available to help. Therapy can be a powerful tool in healing, and support groups for male survivors are incredibly important in fostering understanding and recovery. It's never too late to reach out for support, and there is no shame in seeking help. Here are some resources. So we have the National Sexual Assault Hotline for the US. I have the phone number right here on the screen. It's HOPE, local mental health services, support groups specifically for male survivors of sexual abuse. Ultimately, this conversation is about creating a world where sexual abuse of any kind is taken seriously, and where all survivors, regardless of their gender, feel supported and empowered. We can't erase the past, but we can help others find healing and prevent future harm. So, thank you for tuning in. If this topic resonated with you, or if you feel like more awareness is needed around this issue, please like, comment, and share this video. Let's keep the conversation going, and together we can break the silence around this issue. Stay safe and take care of each other.